Absolutely, and I also read that Melbourne's the host venue for next year. That's even better.
No.
No? Oh, no?
We haven't, it could be.
Okay.
We haven't signed off on anything for the Trans-Tasman yet.
Well, we have to admit here in Melbourne that we are the most livable city at the moment.
And you know what, I think you know what we can thank for that is the ice hockey rights in Vancouver had to have taken it down a few notches.
Spot on. We are talking to Tyler Lovering, who is the Commissioner and the Chairman of the Australian Ice Hockey League. All right, let's get your tips there, Tyler. Big game, Melbourne Ice versus the Adelaide Adrenaline, 4 o'clock on Saturday.
I would have to say that you'd be hard-pressed to bet against Melbourne Ice. But I know the Adelaide Adrenaline captain, Greg Audie, and one of the best players that Australia's ever produced. I think him and his lovely wife just had a baby this morning, and I think that he will have a hell of a lot to play for. And so, you know, honestly, it could be anyone's game.
Okay, well, nice of you to sit on the fence there, Tyler. Semi-final 2, the North Stars from Newcastle and the Sydney Ice Dogs, 7 p.m. On Saturday night.
Well, the North Stars have the best record in the AIHL history. They've won the championship, I think, 5 times over the 12 years. They've got a great senior captain in Ray Sheffield, Australia's #1 goalie in Matt Ezzy, and 4 of the best imports in the league. And if all of them are firing, it's going to be very, very tough to beat them. Having said that, the Ice Dogs have an extremely well-balanced attack. They've got a real young Australian goalie in Jimmy Herbert, who, on his day, you know, is very, very hard to beat. Again, another very senior, solid captain in Anthony Wilson. And, you know, they've kind of just cruised into the finals. They've held on to that 3rd spot all year. No one's really taken notice of them. You know, there's a fight for the 4th spot. Melbourne Ice had the top spot locked in. And they've just sort of quietly crept their way into the top 4. So, again, pretty comfortable that either team could knock off, and I think each other. But I think that, you know, that kind of goes for all 3 games, that whoever brings their best game will win on the day. There's no doubt about it.
Fair enough, Tyler, fair enough. And we all know that the AFL, like Chris Judd, do you have a favourite ice hockey player?
In the Australian Ice Hockey League?
Yes, your favourite player.
My favourite player.
Well, you know the AFL had this massive crush on Chris Judd. Yeah, you must certainly have a favourite player.
Well, that's a tough one. That is a tough one because I've played with and against the majority of the guys in the league. Look, I think that there's a number of key ambassadors, and I named a number of them today. I think probably my favorite player in terms of the face of the league would have to be Adelaide captain Greg Audie.
Greg Audie, lovely. So he's going to win the equivalent to the Brownlow medal, is he?
Well, he's not actually.
Oh.
he's just you know, him and as I mentioned, Anthony Wilson and Matt Ezzy and a number of the you know, Vinnie Hughes, Joey Hughes, Melbourne's players. All of them have some quality, fantastic Australian players. We did announce the top 5 for the MVP this year, and it's again good cross section of some really quality imports.
Yes, and I do see that the Gold Coast Blue Tongues have a couple of nominations there. They must have just missed out on the semi-finals.
They did, and you know, it came down literally to the last weekend of the season, the last game of the season. So we had our programs and our merchandise, everything on hold until Sunday night when it was all determined. But you know, Gold Coast just missed out. I think if they're able to sort of hold a few of their imports for next year, get off to a little bit better start. They had a tough start to the year. That we'll see them in the Final 4 next year.
Well, it should be quite fascinating this weekend, Tyler. We've really enjoyed your company on our show this morning. Hopefully you have an excellent weekend ahead full of fantastic play. And we wish you all the very best, and hopefully we can chat to you next week to review it all.
That would be superb, and thanks for the support.